there was a bunch of young people on the internet saying that water is not wet, and I'm thinking, what? What are you talking about? I mean, it's so stupid that you don't. When you first time you hear it, you're thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Water is not wet. Yes, it is, fag. I hate to say that, but yeah, water is wet. That's a fact. It's not my opinion. And cold water freezes faster than hot water. That is also a fact. It's not my opinion. And here's how I know. Because I've tested it. I already knew it in the first place. That's why I was so eager to try to prove it to someone, because I already knew that. Because the theory was behind the cold water, the hot water freezing faster than the cold is, I'll explain. Not so smooth, right? The theory behind that is something that I'm going to explain right after this break. Don't go away.
You're listening to a man who's so sexy it's completely ridiculous. Mr. Anthony Scott Dover. Yummy.
All right, we're back. Hey, now, what I was talking about before we went to that break was these myths that are based in ignorance and stupidity. And here's what I'm talking about. When people say the vaccine makes you magnetized, you're not going to become Magneto. Those of you who are, superhero fans and you're familiar with the X-Men. No, the vaccine does not make you magnetized. It really doesn't. You should try it. If you've been vaccinated. See, a lot of people are not going to get the vaccine. Like I said, I haven't gotten the vaccine, but it's not for any of these dumb reasons. These conspiracy theory reasons, nonsensical bullshit reasons. It's because, I was a little leery of the speed in which they came up with the vaccine for, but Dr. Fauci says that the vaccine piggybacked this vaccine research piggybacked on work that they were already doing with the coronavirus. Now, work that they were already doing with the coronavirus was a different strand of the coronavirus, but it was coronavirus. So he says that's why they were able to come up with the vaccine, in under a year, as quickly as they were able to, because it was a different strand that they were working on. The coronavirus that caused the pandemic was a different strand. The coronavirus was already here, but it wasn't the same strand that caused everything to, be shut down and so many people to get sick and die, so many old people. Now, what I was talking about was these myths that really lead up to and roll right into the conspiracy theories, which, like I said, I read a Facebook post today that the guy is like, we need some more conspiracy theories because all of them have come true. And I'm saying that's not close to being accurate. None of them have come true, including the fact that Donald Trump, the evil dummy, was supposed to be reinstated. And they keep moving the date, because once we go past the date that they said he was supposed to be reinstated, they just give another date. Now it's August. And even the evil dummy himself and saying he'll be reinstated in August, which is not likely to be true. I don't know if the evil dummy is playing his supporters by saying this nonsense, or he's really believing this nonsense himself because he's a QAnon believer. But he is not 100% sane. We all know the evil dummy to be a person who's not very bright. So you never can tell why he's saying what he's saying. Only, greed, stupidity, power hungry, and he's trying to escape criminal charges from the state of New York. Once he was president, no one can touch him. When you're not president anymore, then people are going to come after you. If you've done anything illegal, which he's done a lot of stuff illegal financially, tax evasion and a lot of other things that they're going to come after him for. But I digress from what I was talking about. Coronavirus and conspiracy theories, which all my shows now have to be. I try not to make all the shows, all my podcast episodes about conspiracy theories, but that's where we're heading because it's so prevalent. The conspiracy theories are so prevalent because there's the number of people who are believing in the nonsense is growing. And some of the people, as I've said before, some of the people are smart people. And that's not what determines whether you believe in something that's not true, is whether you're intelligent. What determines whether you're believing in something that's not true is your sanity level. Sanity has levels. A person who needs to be on medication, their brain is much far worse as far as their sanity is concerned than a person who causes no harm, just believes in dumb shit. You can believe in things that are nonsensical and completely ridiculous and still, get up in the morning and go to work and you're still functional. You're not one of these homeless people who is a nut job because they've decided to not take their medication for being a nut job. There's nut job medication out there, okay? And once you are diagnosed with mental illness, a lot of times, depending on what that mental illness is and whether it's treatable or not, if the doctors actually can pinpoint your mental illness, they can treat you for it. Sometimes they don't get it right. You get misdiagnosed and you get, wrong medication, or they're, they don't quite know exactly what it is. But if you are not that bad off, if you are not 100% sane, but you are still in the high 90s with your sanity, you're 90% sane, that just means you're functioning and maybe you're not on any medication, but you still believe in things that are not true, nonsensical. They're not true. You believing in something that's just not true. Conspiracy theories. You're paranoid. Paranoia is a indicator of someone who is losing their mind. Okay? That's one of the things. That's a symptom of losing your mind is when you start to think that people are out to get you and that the government is controlling everything. They're not. Our government is a big government, but they just don't have the ability to control everything. And they're not going to waste their time trying to control stuff that doesn't benefit them. Like, people say, oh, it's all about control. This is all about... No, it's not. Listen, the government doesn't want to make you wear a mask so they can keep control, because you wearing a mask doesn't do anything for them. And those of you who say, oh, you're clueless. No, you're clueless because you're a dumbass. And maybe some of you are very intelligent, but you're still not 100% sane, and I am. I'm not the only one who is. But I'm one of the people who is still 100% sane. Okay, this is not about control. The government's not using the government didn't cook this virus up in a lab. It came from China. I don't know if China cooked this up in a lab or if it was an accident, but China didn't do it on purpose. They wouldn't, yes, there's 1 billion people in China, but they wouldn't, leak this virus out in their own society, killing, however many people it killed in China. They didn't use this as a weapon. The Chinese government didn't use this as a weapon because it spread through China before it went anywhere else. Usually when you want to use something as a weapon, you don't tend to use it on yourself first. And yeah, I know they have 1 billion people in China. They have 1 billion people in India too. A lot of people never talk about that. People don't know that the population of Indians, I'm talking about real Indians, red dot Indians, not running bear, feather in the hair, Indians, Native Americans here in the U.S. I'm talking about real Indians. They got them over 1 billion people in India too. And they got over 1 billion people in China. But the Chinese did not do this on purpose. And that is part of the problem with conspiracy theories. Is the conspiracy theorist thinks that everything is done on purpose. And that's nonsense. Okay? You're talking about control. It doesn't benefit the government to make you wear a mask just to demonstrate control, because half the people argued about wearing a mask even when the pandemic, we were knee deep in the pandemic. We were deep in the pandemic. Still half the people were arguing about wearing a mask. You got people who would show up to work and on the job they were saying you can't come in the building without wearing a mask, and still people would say, well, I got asthma and I got this and I got that and I can't wear. Yes, you can wear a mask. You just don't want to. You're just trying to be defiant because you are a conspiracy theorist. You think that the government's trying to control us by making us wear a mask, but they're not. The government does a lot of things, and the government is doing a lot of things without telling the public about it. But trying to make you wear a mask is not one of them. Okay? There's no logic behind the government. This pandemic caused probably one of the worst financial crash. The economy dropped. The economy dropped when we went into this pandemic. Okay? The economy, the bottom fell out. And the government had to waste or spend, either way you want to put it, a lot of money just to try to keep things moving.